Here on the Trading Post on this Wednesday, and really it's not the fourth Wednesday of the month. It's not because there's a problem with that.
Yeah, I think this day called Christmas,
and people will be gathering with their families and friends and loved ones and all that. Yeah, nobody want to listen to us talk on the radio.
Not. I probably wouldn't want to listen to myself on that day either.
So we welcome Brian Johnson. We're moving things around and able to get him in today, and we appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. We are looking forward to Christmas. It's hard to believe it's the middle of December. Mm-hmm. We're on the second half, a week away from Christmas. Yeah. Probably should finish up my Christmas shopping.
That'd be probably a good idea. The kids would probably like that.
Okay, well that's good. So, talking about giving, that's kind of what I wanted to focus on this year, kind of that year in review. Mm-hmm. We've done this a few times, but had a few things that happened. A couple weeks ago, we had this day called Giving Tuesday.
We did. We've all been waiting on the edge of our seat.
Holiday season, so I have some results. Of course, thank you to WRLI for being there.
It was a joyful day.
Had a great time. Had some great food. Had a lot of folks through the office.
Awesome.
A lot of donations. A lot of conversation, and really a day of celebrating what we've done as a community foundation throughout the last year. So some results. Can you give me a drum roll or something?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's really all that important, but some of the things that we did during that day. Of course, we had matches offered for the Fulton County Animal Center and for the Outlet Youth Center. Those matches were offered by Rapid View. Thanks to Rex and Chris and Matt and the whole crew out at Rapid View for offering that. $10,000 dollar for dollar matching on the Animal Center. We exceeded that goal.
Cool.
$20,000 matching for the Outlet Youth Center. We exceeded that goal.
Amazing.
And another thing, we've been talking about Lilly Endowment. We're so appreciative of Lilly Endowment and all the support that they provide for community foundations. One of the things that we're in the middle of right now is a 2-for-1 matching for community funds.
We're really in the middle
of it. We're not in the middle of it anymore.
We're done with it.
We had the opportunity to raise $375,000 to be matched with $750,000. If you caught my drift there, I said we had the opportunity. That means we met that goal.
Wow.
We actually went over $375,000 in gifts to community funds. So these will be matched by Lilly Endowment. Thank you, Lilly Endowment. Thank you to all the donors that participated in this.
Amazing.
And then that turns into additional grants every year. So really awesome.
And the community did this in how many months?
A little over. We found out about it in the middle of October last year.
Okay.
So 14 months?
14 months.
Less than 14 months.
And you had a whole other year.
And we had a whole other year if we needed it. But that just means that, these grants are going to start happening earlier rather than later. So
perfect.
Pretty awesome when we think about that. And when we talk about community funds, I'm going to go through a list here towards the end of the program, because it sounds neat when you say $375,000 and $750,000, and that money added together makes $50,000 in additional grants added to the $260,000 plus that we've given out this year. Those are big numbers, lots of zeros, but how does that really impact our lives? So we'll talk a little bit about some of those grants. But thank you to everybody who came for Giving Tuesday. Heard some pretty cool things about places like the youth center and the theater, and had a couple of board members that were on the radio with us, and hearing about some of the cool things that we've been able to do, and also celebrating Caroline Jones was our 2024 recognition for the Lifetime Philanthropy Award. We talk about a lot of folks, and Caroline was very quiet, didn't make a big deal of herself, but did so many things with donations, with connections, with time. She was so involved in the community, and really an amazing person. We recognize not only financial contributions, but those gifts of talents and time that make our community what it is. So really awesome. So we lost Caroline earlier this year, but her legacy is continuing on through the Community Foundation. So, and just through the community as a whole. So, thank you to everybody who came. Had a great day. Had some good food. Had great conversations, and just really celebrated all the things that we've been able to do in our community when we think about, combined with all of the other things we do, grants, scholarships, support to specific organizations. In 2024, Fulton County has already been able to provide over $1 million in support to needs throughout the community, and that's just a really, really awesome number when we think about that. And think about how people have supported the community and donors. A lot of times I get questions, well, where does your funding come from? And I have an answer. It's donors.
Yeah.
Those make that possible.
And a lot of them.
A lot of them, yeah, and that's the other thing. That's part of the beauty of the Community Foundation is I don't have to be independently wealthy to make an impact. I can make a donation, and other people make donations, and those are combined to make really big impacts. Yeah. That's how we get to almost over $250,000 in grants.
Right. You know, and the impact it makes, sometimes you don't recognize it right away.
Yeah.
It may be a year or two down the road, 5 years down the road, but you know, the matter of the dollar amount, it does make an impact eventually.
And we have that opportunity to look back at the grants that we've given, and also you talk about down the road. Part of the neat part about these matching dollars is these are endowment funds. Mm-hmm. So donors make a gift, those gifts are invested, those earnings are what go back to support the project. So it's not like these funds are going to go away. These are funds that are going to ensure that we can continue to make these grants and support these projects. What are we going to need 10 years down the road? I'd like to say I know, but I may have no idea. But we have some funds that are going to be able to support those projects. So really cool to think about that. So we'll circle around and kind of close with some of those grants that we've given, but wanted to mention a couple other things. Of course, end of year. It's always a good time. If you haven't thought about it, you still have about 2 weeks to think about tax implications, gifts to a charitable organization, whether it be the Community Foundation or another organization. But there is still a little bit of time on that. Of course, check with your tax professional, your financial planner. When you think about how would a gift to an organization impact my tax responsibilities, there may be some opportunity there to reduce those. We have great tools. I know one thing that's been very popular lately is an IRA charitable roll, a way to help satisfy a required minimum distribution and still benefit a cause that you're passionate about. So there is still a little bit of time to get in a gift. I will put out a couple of notes about our office availability. We will, of course, be closed on Christmas, the 25th, but our office is also closed on Christmas Eve, the 24th. So just note that. And then as we get to the new year, we'll be closed the afternoon of New Year's Eve, and then all day on New Year's.
Okay.
So just a little bit of planning there. We do have the capability if somebody says, hey, I'm looking for a very last minute gift. Online giving is always available. Website never shuts down. I say that. I hope our website never shuts down, but
we got
great folks taking care of that. So, but that's an opportunity as well. So, the other thing I kind of wanted to look at before we talk about some grants are some of the things that the foundation has been involved in. Just a couple of kind of highlights of the year, because people come to us and say, we want money. Well, that's great. Sometimes they need money for a project or a great idea, but sometimes it's also connections. So that's something that we often get a chance to do, is sit down with folks and say, well, have you talked to such and such an organization because they had an idea, or they've got a project, or there's some collaboration. So some of the things that we were able to participate in this year, early this year we had some community conversations. We've talked about some of the results and some of the things that came out of these conversations, but part of what we wanted to do was be able to be a resource for the community and listen, hear from all kinds of different groups. Had a great demographic, great participation. Had over 100 folks participate in some conversations, just talking about what we're seeing as needs, what we're seeing as gaps, the big idea. I always love to sit in a room with somebody and say, "What's your dream?" Get rid of the financial concerns. What would you like to see? And that really changes the conversation. And sometimes those big ideas aren't always feasible, but more often than not, something comes out of that big idea. So it's really cool to be able to see that. So appreciate everybody that participated in that. We had a really wide range of demographic throughout the whole community. We heard a lot of things, have been able to share information, and those conversations have sparked a lot of conversation and some action around the areas that were brought up. There were a lot of things that we've been hearing, but it was good to kind of confirm and say, you know what, there's a pretty wide group of folks that see this as a need. So that helps us as we have these grant dollars to say, here's a pretty significant need. Let's fund this. So thanks to everybody who participated in those. That's been a good thing. One thing that we got to do was have a little bit of fun. We had a site visit out at Richland Restoration Nature Park. A few folks figured out where that was.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hidden gem, but a really neat place. It's always fun to take folks to a place that we've been able to help and kind of see that, well, this is a space where my dog can enjoy. Yeah. Had a few dogs out there having fun. A couple of mine were there. Running wild. Running wild in a you say running wild in a safe place. Right. The dog park out there.
The dog park.
And then you also have some pretty cool walking trails and pavilions and just a place if you say, hey, I want to stop and have lunch in an outdoor setting. It's a really neat place.
Enjoy nature.
It is. It's a great place. It's a really cool property. I'm kind of jealous. The Parks Department is doing a great job with that. So something else that we were able to do as a resource to organizations is a grant workshop. We give grants, but there are other organizations in the community that give grants. So we were able to bring together a few of those. Of course, the Community Foundation. We had information about some of the other groups like tourism, REMC, some of those local groups. United Way was represented. But then also some area groups like Indiana Humanities and the Art Commission, groups that have funded projects in the area and are looking for more connections. So had a great opportunity to connect organizations with some resources beyond just what we have. And I know there were conversations that were had during that workshop that have led to collaboration and funding of projects. So it's really neat when we can do that, make connections, find resources for organizations that are doing great things. So, and then I'm not sure if I put this under happy or sad. It's a little bit of both, but we have this thing called term limits, and that's a good thing for our organization, but there are times when it becomes a sad thing for our organization because we have 4 people that have served 12 years on the Fulton County Community Foundation. Folks that have really done a great job of providing input and ideas and making our organization as effective as it is. So I'd like to recognize 4 people that have served 12 years. That's a long time.
It is a long time.
That's pretty impressive that we have that knowledge for that length of time. But recognize Penny Ramsey, Doug Morton, Linda Leisure, and of course we mentioned Caroline Jones. Those 4 individuals served 12 years on the Fulton County Community Foundation and have really made the organization better because of their service. We'd like to say thank you. You know, a lot of times we think about money, but we also think about time. These folks have given of their time to participate with our board, with the different committees that we work with, and part of what happened when Lilly Endowment said we want to help get community foundations going in each county. they said it's very important for us to have local people that know about the local community, that are involved, that can say this is the most pressing thing right now for our community. And these are 4 examples of people that are involved and will continue to stay involved. Just they hit their term limit on our board.
Just find a different way to be involved.
Find a different way, and we have some things that we keep them involved with the foundation in. But these are 4 people that have really been involved in the community and have made Fulton County pretty cool to be a part of.
Yeah.
So thank you again to Penny Ramsey, Doug Morton, Linda Leisure, and Caroline Jones for their service to the Community Foundation and the community as a whole.
Yes.
So
we got a chance to talk to Doug on Giving Tuesday.
Yes,
and
yeah.
Some of the great stories
Always.
and some of the neat projects he was involved with.
Yeah, and really has done a lot of things for the community. So, well, we talked about dollars. We talked about that 375 and 750. The part of the sad thing is now I can't say, hey, we've got 2-for-1 match on community funds. We can celebrate the fact that we made that.
Now, will Lily circle back around ever? I mean, would they? How often do they do?
That's a really good
surprise
question.
questions like
That's
that?
a really good question.
Just whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, they do some strategy and some community development, obviously, going all the way back to 1993 when the foundation was formed in Fulton County. That was part of a matching opportunity, so we're not officially affiliated with Lilly Endowment, other than we partner with them on a lot of projects. But they said, we want to get this foundation started and then get it to the point where you can sustain on your own, which we are, which is a pretty awesome thing to do. But I guess the answer is it just depends. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
You'll be one of the first to know when
we
Lily
announce it.
says, hey, and we may never have that opportunity again, or it may be coming up sooner rather than later. But so stay tuned for more details, I guess. Listen for the breaking news.
There you go.
Okay, so we talked about dollars. I've got a list that's 3 pages long. This might be kind of the boring part, but when you think about what do grant dollars look like, so we're talking about $260,000 in grant dollars. What difference does that make in mine and your lives on a daily basis? So I'm just going to read through this list because I'm not sure how else to do this. But
I will say too, you had some graphics up on Giving Tuesday.
We did,
and you didn't I didn't even realize. We talk all the time, and you think about, but we talk so much about it. But when you see it on paper, like you got your 3 pages, where when you see it on a board,
see it in person at the site visit and actually go and experience it.
And it's like, wow, it's kind of amazing. So
So here we go. Here's my attempt at reading a list, and I'm just going to read through it. The Iona South Mud Lake boosters for a dry hydrant installation. Fulton County 4-H for goat barn improvements. One thing I never thought that I would hear is the fact that goats escape their pens. I mean, I know goats are escapes, but just the safety level that we've created for these goats and the students involved in that, pretty cool project. Akron Los Donis, they have been holding the Friday Night Live Music in the Park in Akron. Really cool to go to. Akron Youth League had some upgrades to the girls' dugout and concession stand door and electricity. CASA Fulton County partnered with the Fulton County Leadership Academy group and created some sensory support bags for first responders. The Fulton County Firemen's Association, the Lucas device, and this one happened to land in Henry Township with the fire department over there. Rochester City Parks Department Summer Parks Program, cool, it came back this year.
Yeah.
Honor Flight Northeast Indiana for flight number 49 to take veterans to Washington, D.C. The Beeman Home for marketing and awareness. They're more active in our community. You've seen some advertising around the community. Science Central for a Science for You programming that benefits our local students. We were able to partner with a group and the Fulton County Economic Development Corporation for a housing study. Paying dividends now. Purdue Extension, working with the Food Security Alliance, helping provide resources for food pantries. Another significant one was the Brent Blackadder Memorial Sports Complex. We were able to provide some grant dollars and also some matching to help with some soccer renovations at the fields. I've benefited from the bleachers. I've sat on them. They're great. Thank you very much. and also some renovations to the softball diamonds for the dugouts and some needs out there. Times Theater, some lighting and property upgrades. Akron Carnegie Public Library, they are installing a story walk over at the Akron Parks. Guardian Advocates, a program that helps provide guardianship for adults that may not have somebody else to fill that role. Abinabi Township Fire Department for some boots and helmets. We want to keep our first responders safe, appreciate what they do. Rochester Downtown Partnership had a big deal this summer, the Nickel Plate Music and Art Festival. Filled up the courthouse lawn, had some great music. Rochester Little League, they were able to purchase a new field tractor. They do a lot of tournaments and baseball, a really great organization. Recovery Cafe of Fulton County started a Learn to Code program, kind of a neat thing, teaching participants tools about how to develop applications. The Fulton County Soil and Water Conservation District, they were able to put together an education trailer. We were able to help support with some a trailer wrap and some conservation station equipment. The Hardery in Kewanna needed some building improvements and also created what they call a community channel, information about community events. Tippecanoe Valley High School, an education grant to help certify a yoga instructor for the students to benefit from that. Rochester Middle School, another education grant to help with the Junior Honor Society trip to Washington, D.C. You know, what time of year when we think a lot about food, we've actually been able to support Food Finders, mobile food pantry. We see that truck around the community a couple times a month with a couple of grants there. Provide some support to organizations in general like the Outlet Youth Center, the Compassionate Health Center, Woodlawn Health, United Ministries, Rochester Royals, the Fulton County Indiana 529 program, the Rochester Junior and Senior High Band program, Hope for the Homeless program, provide support for Charity Tracker, which is a resource program for frontline short-term assistance organizations. Things like the library, we already mentioned the youth center a couple of times. I'm just going through my list here. Things like the Animal Center, Macmillan Health, a health education program for Fulton County youth. Servants at Work, a neat program that helps construct wheelchair ramps for folks in the community. Security camera system for Pike Memorial Park over in Akron. Scioto's Eye, it's not happening right now yet, but this spring we'll start seeing art banners pop up. A really cool thing to be able to drive downtown Rochester and see all these banners hanging. Dustin's Place is a children's grief support program based out of Plymouth, but serves a lot of Fulton County families. It's kind of cold. It's not real cold for December. It's not snowing, but kids need coats. So Fulton County Pack a Backpack supports a winter coat project to help support students who may not have access to that. And then throughout the Times Theater, again, we're able to provide some general support for that organization. So when you think about what does $260,000 look like, well, I can't show you that on the radio, but I can tell you that on the radio.
Yeah.
It's really cool, like you said, looking at pictures or hearing about or actually seeing these projects and what does it really mean for us. So a lot of these things are really cool. If you all of a sudden took away all this stuff,
wow,
we would notice.
Yeah, you definitely would.
Really neat to think about when we look back over the year and say, this is the impact that we've been able to help.
Yeah,
we've been able to
help.
That's
just this year.
That's just this year. So, yeah, pretty cool.
It's amazing.
That's a long list.
It's a lot of great work.
A lot of good projects, a lot of great things. So thank you to the folks that volunteered their time. You know, almost all of those organizations that I mentioned are almost entirely, if not entirely, volunteer organizations. We're talking about organizations that help with youth development, help provide some basic needs, help save lives, help with education, help provide us awesome entertainment in the community, help provide skills that may lead to employment. All of those things are things that at the local level, at the personal level, we can make a difference on. So really cool when we think about what did that $250,000 go to, all that stuff that I just read. If you're curious about that, we do have this list and also all the lists going back years on our website. And it's really cool to look back and say, oh, 5 years ago we helped with this, and now all of a sudden this project is really huge for us. So, well, again, thank you to everybody who came for Giving Tuesday. Appreciate the support. Appreciate helping us make matches. Thanks to the Rapid View crew for offering additional matches. Thanks to Lilly Endowment for offering a match. We no longer have a match at the moment. That's a good thing.
Yes.
These dollars will be going back to these projects, and next year our list will probably be a little bit longer because we'll have a little bit more money to grant out. But
that's a good problem to have.
If you're looking for that last minute gift, sometimes people say, I've already got all the stuff I need. I had a friend tell me, I told my kids, don't buy me anything more. Make a gift to my fund at the foundation because I don't want to have to deal with more stuff. So always a great opportunity to make a gift that, as we talked about earlier, continues to give year after year. But if you're interested in that, you can always check us out online, nicf.org. And I did put this on my list, but I need to say that we do have scholarship applications.
Oh, yes.
So students, you got winter break.
Get them filled out.
Get the application filled out. It'll be the second week of February when that's due, but that's part of the dollars we gave out this year, over $200,000 in scholarships. So that's available on our website. You can start that application, nicf.org. You can follow us on Facebook, Northern Indiana Community Foundation. Give us a call, 574-224-3223, or stop by our office at 227 East 9th Street here in Rochester. We'd love to talk to you about any ideas or plans or just a dream that you have for our community.
Brian, thank you, and everybody at the Community Foundation for a great job again this year. Looking forward to an even better 2025.
We're looking forward to it.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Brian, to you and everybody over there.
And to you as well.
That's going to do it for the Giant FM Morning Show.